evening and welcome to tonight's regional news. Jamaica has put a 2-week ban on flights from the United Kingdom, joining several countries in restricting travel from Britain over a new strain of the novel coronavirus. Jamaicans were also strongly advised not to travel to the UK. The Ministry of Health and Wellness, in a statement announcing the ban, said it would take effect immediately and end on January 4, 2021. It noted, however, that UK flights coming into the country over the next 24 hours and outbound flights from the UK will be allowed up until midnight Tuesday. The Ministry of Health said the country is expecting 3 flights from the UK in the next 24 hours, one of which is already en route. But passengers on board those flights will be subjected to a minimum 48-hour quarantine and PCR testing. According to the statement, I quote, "Family members of persons who arrive on these flights will be able to pick up their relatives after the minimum 48-hour quarantine," end of quote. Now, in Trinidad and Tobago, Trinidad businessmen are involving in the illegal trade of Venezuelans to the country for the sale of their bodies through prostitution and also sale of their organs. This statement was made by the president of the Latin Association of Trinidad and Tobago, David Edgell. I quote, "We have a next issue, which is the exploitation, human trafficking, organ harvesting, narco and ammunition trafficking involving the migrants supported by citizens and businessmen of Trinidad and Tobago," end of quote, Edgell said at a news conference on Sunday. Edgell said Venezuelans are entering the country illegally and rings of illegal activities are happening without consequence. He said things must be put in order to treat with the criminals and assist the economic migrants who may be in need. The Latin Association, he said, is willing to work with authorities to make things better. Still in Trinidad and Tobago, over 35 offshore workers employed with the Perenco Trinidad and Tobago Oil and Gas Company were transported to the Ministry of Health's quarantine facility at the University of the West Indies campus last evening after they tested positive for COVID-19 while on duty on the Teak Alpha platform last week. The workers were transported to the facility just around 6:25 p.m. on Sunday and were processed before going into quarantine. In an internal memo to workers on the situation, the company warned that workers were not to disclose any information to any third party unless otherwise authorized. In particular, it warned that workers were not to divulge any information to the media, pointing out that disciplinary action could result. In a response to the company memo, the Banking, Insurance and General Workers Union wrote, I quote, "The threatening memorandum by the company is considered an act of trespass on the rights of workers by the union. The union and its branch representatives will not be muzzled," end of quote. And finally, a Guyanese man was among 3 persons killed in an early morning fire at a house in Queens, New York on Saturday. According to reports, the blaze was reported sometime around 5:37 hours at 9031 48th Avenue in Elmhurst. The occupant of the home's second floor related that 2 of the dead persons were immigrants, one from Guyana and the other from Morocco. The identity of the Guyanese man is not yet known. It was also reported that the flames were so intense at least 1 person jumped from the 3rd floor to escape. 2 of those killed Saturday could be seen struggling to escape and may have been unable to get out because a door leading to the 2nd floor terrace was kept locked, sources said. The article said that the Queen's home was regularly cited by the city for illegally packing in tenants. Saturday's fire also left 4 others, including 2 firefighters with minor injuries, officials said. 1 firefighter fell through a floor but was ultimately able to get to safety. That was all for tonight's regional news. Thank you for joining.